Welcome to another edition of Brit in Poland. So this one is one of the more personal takes on the channel. So instead of showing you the lovely videos of Poland, unfortunately you're just stuck listening to me talk for a little bit. But as I did last year, and I'd like to keep this a tradition, I want to talk about my goals and my aims for the coming year. So we've survived to 2022, COVID is still around, gradually we're caring less and less about it. Maybe this year will start to feel more normal, who can say? The experts said it would last 2 years or so, and well, we're getting to that point. But anyway, what am I looking to do this year? You know, how am I looking to improve? Last year was pretty much focused on improving my living situation and sorting out a few things, getting to see my family again, this kind of thing. I'd got a bit of travel in, perhaps not as much as I'd like, but it was a good year, I can certainly say that. Whether I do a summary video, I'm still deciding. But this year, how do I want things to be different? Every year we should try and think of something to better ourselves, to push ourselves forward, and to really try and make the best of life as best we can. Now, one of my priorities for 2022 is, let's see, I think I need a haircut. Yeah, January's always a lean month, isn't it? So I've kind of put this off a little bit. Not that I can't afford a haircut, but I'm like, I think food will take priority right now. Also, of course, you know, just to say what everyone says at the start of the year, I want to work on my fitness. And so I definitely want to lose a bit of weight. I want to feel like I have more energy, more drive, and to really kind of help push myself, which becomes more and more important with each passing year. So these are some of the basics, and of course I want to read more. I have a lot of books, especially about Poland, about self-improvement, and these are some of the areas that I want to kind of really keep pushing. But what is actually something worth talking about? Because everyone can have these goals, there's nothing specific to living in another country. However, there is one goal that is thought impossible by some, considered an essential thing by others, and that is, I want to learn Polish. Now, having lived in Poland for 4 years, a lot of people ask me, how's your Polish? And it's fair to say I know more than I'm comfortable saying. And I want to change that. I not only want to learn more, because there's, you know, learning a whole new language is a big challenge. There are a lot of words to pick up. The alphabet is different to the UK one, and let's be honest, the pronunciation of some of these words is an absolute nightmare for somebody raised with a British tongue. So how am I going to do this? So in previous years I've tried things like Duolingo. I've tried reading, I've tried a couple of websites. Nothing has really stuck in a good way. Enough to get me by on some basics, but not enough to really make me feel self-sufficient. Not knowing a language in a foreign country can be quite self-isolating, and at times it can be potentially dangerous. Who's to say you get some crazy warning sign that you just ignore because you don't know what it means? Somebody is yelling something at you in the street that might save you from a piano falling on your head. Who knows? So also day-to-day life, you know, you're going shopping, you're meeting new people, you're doing traveling, the police stop you, hasn't really happened much yet, but you need to be prepared. And if you really want to live in a country, investing in their language is a key thing. So I can reveal to you that for the last couple of months I have been taking some lessons. So I signed on to a language school. It was one that was recommended to me by a friend. And so I've been doing like 2 lessons a week, so 2 hours a week, plus a bit of homework in between, as well as the usual, you know, translating stuff on my own, trying to learn some key words, etc., etc. I really hope this will be the year that makes me a lot more confident in speaking Polish. When I'm reading these place names, reading these like historical figures, I might even be able to pronounce some of them correctly going forward. And maybe I could even insert some of this into the channel, so include a few key Polish phrases for you. I know there are hundreds of videos by native speakers, so why would you turn to me? So let's not say I'm going to turn this into a language channel, because I certainly am not, but I would like to be able to invest a bit more into the country I'm living in and to really show how powerful a language Polish can be. So, of course, another thing, and this was on my list last year and I still haven't got round to it, but I need to get a Polish driving license. Getting around Poland with public transport is brilliant if you want to get to some of the bigger cities, but there are some places where, sure, you can figure out a rather convoluted route. So take train X to location Y, take several buses, and eventually you'll get there. But not all of us have an entire day to invest in traveling. When you have a car, it makes things a lot easier here, as many a friend can attest. I'm not saying I'll necessarily be able to afford my own car. My income is not really amazing, but at least be able to rent a car for some of those journeys so that I can really get out and about to places that are harder to find. At the moment, I've been very much relying on public transport or the charity of my friends. Of course, I pay them for petrol or provide some alternative thing. I'll buy them lunch or something. But anyway, it would be good to be more self-sufficient, and this is something that, again, I really need to look into. Sure, I may not be the most confident driver, but at my age, it's something I think needs to be addressed. So also, like, we're starting to come to the end of the whole work from home thing. So my office has actually been reopened now, so you can go in when you like, and I've been using this occasionally, more when I've had to deal with stuff with HR or whatever, but actually I have some friends and colleagues there that are good to keep in contact with, and it makes a real difference to working when you can see people face to face. You can go for lunch together, you can have a nice chat. Sometimes it's just easier to help people when you have them in the room. So I'm going to try and push myself to go back into the office a bit more. I think it will be beneficial. And I've been in my current role for about a year now, so for anyone that's curious, I'm like a business process analyst. I have a small but very intelligent team of subject matter experts, and I work very much on the projects for my company. And I've really enjoyed this role. It's been my first experience into kind of management, and it's really helped me to learn a lot, to grow a lot, and I want to continue that trend. So I'll be looking for opportunities out there and hoping to expand. Of course, to earn more money is always a bonus, but ultimately I'd like to progress my career further and just keep growing on that particular vein. Also, I've been getting into board games a lot more recently. I've always loved board games ever since I was a child, playing games such as Monopoly, or perhaps the lesser known Kingmaker with my dad and my brother. You know, we would play these games a lot growing up, and I've always been a fan of games. So I've been trying to kind of buy more board games, get into more complicated board games, and so this is quite fun. But also, at some point I'd like to do a video about Polish board games, because there are a few on the market, a few that are quite wide-reaching, and I think are quite special to talk about. I can also talk about which games are popular in Poland. There is certainly a big board gaming community here, and I would love to showcase that. And one other thing that I have put off for a while, mainly because I wanted to make it special, but I finally want to do a proper video focusing on Warsaw. I've done a lot of small videos talking about different things, about museums, about sites, about specific landmarks, maybe parts of the city, but I haven't tried to do a total Warsaw video, and I would like to give my perspective on this city. So I remember one night I spent an entire evening mapping out the things I want to include, the places I want to go, and I realized I have a lot of videos to capture. So I'm waiting for the weather to get a little bit nicer. Today we had a bit of a blizzard and a thunderstorm, and it was, thunder snow, as some people call it. That was quite fun for a short while. And we have a nice sprinkling of white on the ground again. However, perhaps the year hasn't taken the best start, because what have I decided to do? I've decided to play The Witcher again. After watching the Netflix series, The Witcher, I got inspired. I love the game. I need to read through the books. I've certainly made a start. I've read the first 3 novels out of 7 or 8, is it? But anyway, I need to continue and read through. As a lot of these adaptations, The Witcher is not perfect. The casting, well, okay, let me backtrack. So I've talked to a lot of my friends here about The Witcher and what their perspective is from a Polish point of view. A lot of people have grown up with Sapkowski's works, so I thought it might be curious to know what they think about the series. A lot of people are generally favourable. They think the production values are good, the casting is okay, the storytelling is pretty decent. But as a lot of true Witcher fans will know, there are perhaps some things that could have been done better. The casting for Ciri and Yennefer is a very hot topic out here. People think that Yennefer looks too young, isn't quite playing the part, and Ciri looks a bit too old for the character that she's playing. And also, certain characters have been killed off in the TV series that weren't killed off in the books. Certain stories were changed. People were added into scenes that shouldn't necessarily have been there. Again, this is one of those divisive topics, and it's always interesting to have a beer, sit with friends, and bring up the subject of what do you think of the latest episode of Witcher. They've already started season 3. I would say personally I'm a fan, I'm enjoying it. I find it a little bit difficult to watch, much like Game of Thrones. You have to really pay attention to the episodes to kind of understand what's going on. Pick up those cues in the dialogue and really get involved into the situation. But I'm enjoying it as an audience member. Sure, perhaps I'm a bit of a truist and I don't like it when, adaptations of books and films and things turn things a little bit on their side, take different paths, try to rewrite and make it a producer's vision rather than the original creators. But you have to allow a little bit of flexibility. I loved season 1. I felt that was much truer to the books in many respects, but season 2 has really deviated, tried to fill in some holes in the character history. But I would be interested in your opinion. Did you enjoy The Witcher? Did you not? And of course, one important thing I forgot before I went on my little Witcher ramble there. One important thing I forgot in terms of what I want to do this year is, of course, see more of Poland, to learn more about Polish history and traditions. And I have a nice long list of places to visit. It's pretty much the same list I had last year with a couple of additions. Certainly, I didn't get to as many places as I wanted to see, though I did see a lot of the country. So, yeah, maybe this will be the year I finally venture up to Szczecin. You've got Kłobrzeg nearby, a few other places. I think it's Rzeszów in the like the southeast as well. I would like to get to, maybe get to the Biscati Mountains, which is something that has been something that people have told me to go to many times. There are places like Zamość, which I still haven't been to. I'm yet to visit the infamous Radom. So certainly there are a lot of places in Poland, in a very big country, that I haven't been to, a lot of wonderful nature that I haven't seen yet, a lot of like cultural things that I haven't experienced. So maybe this will be the year to further expand that knowledge. Maybe. Of course it will be. Traveling around Poland is becoming a passion, and I really hope that I, continue that trend. And just to finish off, so one thing I'm in the process of doing now is setting up an account on Patronite. Of course, viewing my videos is free, and it always will be until YouTube decides to start charging for their services. But if anyone wants to help me with my costs, allow me to spend a bit more time in places, see places further afield, you're more than welcome to contribute. But otherwise, please do like and subscribe if you would like to see more of Poland. But I've been Brit in Poland. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to bringing you more content as the year progresses. Do zobaczenia.